Poirier and Corporal Scotty Cannizzaro. The community is coming together to honor the two Baton Rouge police officers who were killed in that helicopter crash over the weekend. Procession is beginning at the coroner's office in West Baton Rouge Parish and will make its way to Baton Rouge Police Headquarters on Airline Highway. Well, our team coverage starts with News 2's Bess Casserly, who's live in West Baton Rouge Parish, where the procession is about to begin. Bess, good morning. Set the scene for us. Quite a number of law enforcement officials from across the area have gathered to pay their final respects.
Yeah, JP, there are dozens of police officers and deputies here from Baton Rouge Police Department, East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office, and West Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office. Their assignment today is to escort Sergeant David Poirier and Corporal Scotty Cannizzaro to their final resting places. I'm going to step out of frame so you can see they're about to load up. They've got quite a little journey to go. Their route will be taking place here at the West Baton Rouge Coroner's Office. Then they'll go across the Old Bridge and travel south on Airline Highway to BRPD headquarters, and then they will escort the bodies of the officers in front of the police memorial, which is at Baton Rouge Police Headquarters. And for those interested, that is at 9000 Airline Highway. They are asking if the public does want to attend and pay their respects to meet there at the Baton Rouge Police Headquarters Police Memorial at 9000 Airline Highway. Looks like they are loading up right now and should be there by 11 o'clock. From there, they will proceed to the Seal Funeral Home in Denham Springs. Quite somber out here. A lot of people lined up. We can't show you them, but there are dozens of people lined up on the side of the road here to watch that procession go by. Of course, JP, back to you.
Hey, Bess, thanks for that. And it's great to see all those people that are gathering there to pay their final respects. And I have a feeling that along the route on the way to Baton Rouge Police Headquarters, we're going to see many more people. They'll come, they'll hold American flags, they'll salute, they'll shed some tears as they pay their final respects to these two fallen heroes. Well, the two seasoned officers, you know, they have quite a history. They were seasoned pilots with more than 3 decades of flying experience between them. Bess Casserly recently took a look at their history of heroism. And we're going to look at that in just a second. But right now, we're looking at the police procession. As you can see, it is getting ready to leave the West Baton Rouge Parish Courthouse. Bess is there, but she has gotten to know a little bit about these two officers. David Poirier, 47 years old. You know, he'd been with the Baton Rouge Police Department for 17 years. Recently reported rank of sergeant, leaves behind a daughter. And then Scotty Cannizzaro, corporal, just celebrated his 38th birthday. He'd been with BRPD for 16 years. And now this army of police officers on motorcycles will escort their bodies to police headquarters. And Bess is joining us. Bess, why don't you set the scene for us again? Tell us what you're seeing.
JP, the hearse right now is just passing us by. They are going to eventually end up at Seal Funeral Home in Denham Springs, but they do want to stop first by Baton Rouge Police Headquarters because we know that these officers were very valued members of the Baton Rouge Police Department. Here comes the other hearse right now, which is actually looks like it's going to Ravenhorst. Lots of officers here. This is Livingston Parish, actually, and East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office, State Police. We have police officers and deputies from all over the area and the state coming out to help escort these two officers to their final resting place. And that journey will go over the Old Bridge and into Baton Rouge, where they will end up at the police headquarters memorial. And they are asking if people do want to come and pay their respects to meet there. I'm estimating they should be there around 11 o'clock. And again, from there, they will proceed to the funeral homes. Looks like this is the end of the procession, JP.
All right, Bess, and there you go. There you see, this is quite the scene that you see right there. That's looks like U.S. Highway 61 at Scenic Highway. That's the route they're going to take. But look at that huge American flag. Procession is going to pass under that as a show of respect and honor for these two fallen heroes. You see the flag suspended over the roadway there. This is quite an honor for fallen police officers, and you see it quite often with processions like this, kind of reminiscent of the time back in 2016 when 3 Baton Rouge, 2 police officers and a sheriff's deputy were killed in the Baton Rouge police ambush when they had their final goodbyes and funerals, had a similar scene there where the procession passed under this huge American flag for those who protect and serve. And as you might imagine, these scenes getting lots of response on social media. And I think one that I read that summed it all up, when you talk about Sergeant David Poirier and Corporal Scotty Cannizzaro, a federal air marshal who retired, he chimed in, and all he said was this. He quoted Matthew chapter 5, verse 19. "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God." Well, two of those peacemakers are being saluted today and honored and laid to rest as the procession carrying their bodies will now make its way under this American flag and take them to Baton Rouge Police Headquarters, where they will begin their end-of-watch ceremonies. It's quite a scene here. Once again, that was U.S. Highway 61 at Scenic. We're going to continue to follow the procession and kind of give you, we'll go in and out of the procession and show you when we get it within camera's range. But, you know, our team coverage continues now with News 2's Katie Easter, who is live outside of Baton Rouge Police Headquarters, where that procession will end. Today expected to be a very emotional day for law enforcement and the officers' families. Katie, so what are you seeing out there?
Well, JP, you know, a lot more people are continuing to come here now as, you know, the procession did just start to take off. They've been out here. Uh-oh, our live view just dropped. They've been out here getting ready. The crowds have been coming. You can actually see the different departments out here lined up. You've got people here from the training academy. You've got, of course, BRPD officers. I just saw a bunch of Everville Sheriff deputies pull up. We've also seen a couple of the other pilots coming out here right now. Everyone's lined up. They've got their flags at half staff. Actually, I think I do see the mayor out here right now, too. Yes, she is over there right by the chief. I also have already spoken to some of the people lining up, and one of those people that I spoke with was a mother of another officer, and she says it's things like this that you think about every single day, and all you can really just do is pray for your loved ones whenever you send them off to work in the mornings, and that's really all you can do. And so she was out here supporting the rest of her BRPD family. So again, we're just taking a quick look here at all the different departments, all the different people from BRPD standing out here now. Again, the mayor out here standing here with the chief. And again, I just keep seeing more cars pull in, and it just appears to be more community members coming out to show their support. So I'll go ahead and toss it back into you guys so we can take a look maybe at those traffic cameras again to see the procession coming down. But again, everyone is out here. They're getting lined up and they're getting ready to salute their two heroes. So JP, back to you.
Katie, quite a scene at Baton Rouge Police Headquarters. Let's keep it there for a second. And as you can see, as she said, the mayor is there along with the police chief. Of course, they're standing in front of the Baton Rouge Police Memorial. It is something to see. If you've never seen it at Baton Rouge Police Headquarters, take some time and go out there and check out that memorial, because it is quite an incredible sign there, memorial to the brave men and women who've died while protecting and serving the Baton Rouge Police Department. Once again, here's a shot over at US 61, Scenic Highway. You can see that huge American flag, a sign of honor for the two fallen heroes, as the procession carries them under this flag, and we'll head over from West Baton Rouge, across the bridge, the old bridge, down 61, over to Baton Rouge Police Headquarters, which of course is along Airline Highway there near the Broadmoor area, and that's where they'll have a ceremony there in front of the police memorial. And there are 25 names listed on that police memorial in front of Baton Rouge Police Headquarters. 25 brave men and women who have given their lives in the line of duty, and many names that we've covered over the years, many names like Betty Smothers, names like Matthew Gerald and Montrell Jackson, and now two more names will be added to that list of honor, Sergeant David Poirier and Corporal Scotty Cannizzaro. But this is quite a scene, and we're monitoring the traffic shots to bring you the latest on the police procession. As Bess was showing us, quite a number of motorcycle police officers involved in this from all the different agencies around the Baton Rouge area. And this is common for many of these emotional and honor ceremonies. Many of the police forces will come from throughout the area and participate in this and guide these heroes to their final resting place, or at least for today, over to Baton Rouge Police Headquarters, and then for to Seal Funeral Home in Denham Springs. But as we told you earlier, 2 officers were seasoned pilots with more than 3 decades of flying experience between them. Bess Casserly recently took a look at their history of heroism.
The fatal police helicopter crash deaths of Sergeant David Poirier and Corporal Scotty Cannizzaro have left the community saddened and shocked. Working in the air support unit, the pair had more than 3 decades of police experience between them. Both were licensed helicopter pilots and tactical flight officers.
I'm going to get in the helicopter. I'm going to start it up. It's going to take about 3 or 4 minutes for me to get it up to temperature and ready to roll.
A fellow airman described both Poirier and Cannizzaro as experienced and conservative pilots. In 2019, the duo were even given Officers of the Month awards by the police department for their parts in assisting with several pursuits.
It's always better to have 2 people than 1, because I can concentrate more on flying and looking, and then have another set of eyes with me.
Just a little more than a year ago, Poirier and Detective Dustin Condi helped locate a missing 8-month-old baby who spent the night in the woods in the central area. WBRZ spoke to him about the rescue.
Tonight, the pair hailing it as a group effort, getting this baby to safety.
Everything just fell into place with the joint effort of everyone from the very beginning, from the hospital, fire department, all the way through search and rescue, K9, all the way through. If all those things wouldn't have fell in place, we wouldn't have had a successful outcome.
And their work wasn't just exemplary while on the clock. Both officers were active in the community. There's video of Cannizzaro landing his chopper for students at Broadmoor Presbyterian so they can learn about the aircraft. Both men leave behind children. According to Poirier's Facebook page, he had just been promoted to sergeant 2 weeks ago.
All right, Bess, thanks for that report. Sergeant David Poirier was 47 years old, and as Bess said, he leaves behind a family. He leaves behind a daughter. Scotty Cannizzaro had just celebrated his 38th birthday. He leaves behind a wife and a 10-year-old son. Once again, the procession is making its way to Baton Rouge Police Headquarters, where they're going to hold a ceremony to honor these 2 fallen officers. Let's go back to Katie Easter, who's live there with the very latest. Katie, quite the scene outside of headquarters.
Absolutely, JP. Like I had just said a little bit ago, I'll step right out here because we've got the mayor, the chief, we've got them all out here right now. You've got, just take a look at this. I mean, you've got all of them in their dress blues. You've got different departments out here as well as community members. You've even got the training academy out here too. Everyone is lined up and ready to honor these 2 officers. Even down there, like I had said, there's Iberville Sheriff deputies. You've got state police out here. And again, you have these community members. They do keep on coming. So I'm expecting even larger crowds than this. You can see the flags out here at half staff right now. And you've got the flowers out there in front of that memorial. And like you had said, we are expecting, them to do the end of watch ceremonies right here. It's just, it really is, it's kind of hard to see, just to see. It's amazing, but it's really hard to see all the support coming out and all these different officers here. They may not even have known the 2 officers, but that's not what it's about. So, all right, well, JP, I'll toss it back into you as we stand here and we continue to wait.
All right, Katie, thanks for that. Yeah, quite a crowd outside of Baton Rouge Police Headquarters. Again, we're showing you the procession as it makes its way from West Baton Rouge Parish across the old bridge to East Baton Rouge Parish. As you might imagine, that traffic in that area has been shut down to make way for the procession that will slowly make its way across the bridge, then up U.S. Highway 61 or Airline Highway, and of course, further up the highway closer to the Broadmoor subdivision near the intersection with Florida Boulevard. That's where you'll find Baton Rouge Police Headquarters. It's the site of the Old Women's Hospital, but now, of course, where the police headquarters are, and the mayor and the police chief, they're all waiting right there in front at the police memorial, which is right in front of police headquarters. You can't miss it when you visit there. And I encourage you sometimes after all of this to go out there and spend a quiet moment and read the names and read the stories and check out and pray for those who protect and serve our city throughout the year. There are 25 names that'll be on that memorial now with the addition of these latest 2, David Poirier and Scotty Cannizzaro. And here we go. This is another shot of the old bridge. You can see coming across the bridge is the procession. You see it right there with flashing lights escorting the two hearses carrying the bodies of the fallen officers. And then again, a procession of state police, East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's deputies, city police, Iberville police, sheriff's deputies and police from all across the area are taking part of this and guiding these two fallen officers to their final resting place, or at least to Baton Rouge Police Headquarters, where they will have these end-of-watch ceremonies. And there, once again, here's a shot coming off the bridge, and you see right there, passing under that giant American flag as a sign of honor, are dozens and dozens of motorcycle police officers who are guiding the hearses to Baton Rouge Police Headquarters. This is very common for an honor ceremony for those who fall in the line of duty, to pass under red, white, and blue of a huge American flag. And here comes another wave of motorcycle officers who are leading a procession. Thanks to all of those who are participating in this. I know it's a very emotional, very tough time for many of these police officers. Many of them are wearing a black band on their badges today in honor of these two fallen officers. And we're just going to be silent for a moment as these hearses pass under the flag. Blessed are the peacemakers. Quite an emotional day for Baton Rouge Police. As Police Chief Murphy Paul said earlier, after the helicopter went down, he just asked the community to respect the families and to lift these two officers and their families and the entire police force in prayer, because it's a very tough time. And as you can see behind them, quite a number of police vehicles that are taking part in this procession. Dozens and dozens of police vehicles from many different agencies across South Louisiana. Again, reminiscent of what we saw back in 2016 after the Baton Rouge police ambush, when 3 law enforcement officers had their final watches, and they had similar ceremonies and processions just like this. But this one will now travel, as it travels under the flag, the procession will head south on Airline Highway to Baton Rouge Police Headquarters, about the 9,000 block. I believe it's in the area by the Broadmoor subdivision, not far from the intersection with Florida Boulevard. And there, they will have ceremonies there, including most of the Baton Rouge police force, along with Mayor Sharon Weston Broome, Police Chief Murphy Paul, and many other. But as you can see, they've stopped the traffic right now as they move some of these vehicles, and then I think they will let the traffic go. It looks like the traffic on the bridge is flowing once again. They had shut the bridge down, obviously, to let the procession pass over. Now it looks like they are trying to secure that area before letting the regular traffic get flowing again on Airline Highway. Again, we have team coverage of this. Bess Casserly was over in West Baton Rouge Parish covering the procession as it began. Katie Easter is at the end of the procession at Baton Rouge Police Headquarters, and of course she will bring us more as the procession gets closer and closer to its final destination, where they will have ceremonies in front of the Baton Rouge Police Memorial. Again, these two names will be added to dozens of others of brave men and women who have given their lives in the line of duty over the years to protect and serve Baton Rouge. 25 names now on that memorial. And again, I would encourage you, if you get the chance, to get on over to Baton Rouge Police Headquarters and check out that memorial and read the stories, become familiar with the men and women who have given their lives and had their end of watch in protecting our city and its citizens. Let's go back to Katie again. And Katie, I know the procession's getting closer and closer. Give us a sense of what's going to happen once the procession gets to Baton Rouge Police Headquarters.
Well, JP, you know, like you had said, it is actually very somber out here. You can see the different departments out here. Like I had said, you got the training academy, you've got mayor right there next to chief, you've got state police out here, you've got some Iberville deputies out here, you've got sheriff deputies from EBR out here. You just have a lot down here. You've got their flag at half staff right now. We've got flowers in front of the memorial. So, I mean, once they get here, there's just support all around. We've got several community members still continuing to show up, and there's already several. One of them that I spoke with was a mother of another officer, and you know, it was kind of hard to talk with her. I'm not going to lie to you, because, you know, she sat there and she said, it's stuff like this, you know, that you can't really think about, and all you can do is just pray when your loved one goes into work every single day. I mean, that's just, you know, that's all you can do is pray. So again, you can see everybody lined up and waiting. It's quiet out here, but you know, I've seen a lot of people giving out hugs today. Everyone has been very supportive of one another. So again, we're just all standing here waiting right now to go ahead and start with that ceremony once they get here. And I know they're going to come back around here right in front of the memorial, and then we'll be expecting everything to happen right here. So JP, we'll bring it back into you for a little bit.
All right, Katie, thanks for that. And once again, Katie's in front of the Baton Rouge Police Memorial. Quite a number of names on that memorial. And I was checking the history of that memorial. You know, it goes all the way back to 1911. And the name of one of the early police chiefs of the city of Baton Rouge, Chief J.B. Hare, who was killed by gunfire. To the last name that was added to that was Sergeant Charles Dotson, who his end of watch came January of 2021, died from complications of COVID-19. So quite a number of centuries, quite a number of decades on that represented on that memorial. And now 2 more names will be added there for people to, you know, honor and memorialize, that of David Poirier and Scotty Cannizzaro. But it's quite a it's quite a scene out there when you think that that's just about the entire Baton Rouge police force that is there. If they're not there, they're in the procession, guiding their 2 fellow officers to the memorial there, and then the mayor's there, the police chief is there, both encouraging the city to come out, wave flags, salute, pray, shed tears for these brave men who gave their lives in the line of duty. Once again, that procession is making its way down Airline Highway, probably just not too far from Baton Rouge Police Headquarters. They're making good time, and we're checking all our different traffic shots to try to bring you a bird's eye view of the procession as it makes its way along Airline Highway. And like many funeral processions, you have a lot of motorcycle police officers ahead that are stopping at intersections and making sure traffic is stopped while the procession makes its way down Airline to Baton Rouge Police Headquarters. And once again, Sergeant David Poirier, 47 years old. He had been on the Baton Rouge Police Department for 17 years, recently promoted to rank of sergeant, leaves behind a daughter. And then Corporal Scotty Cannizzaro. Scotty had just celebrated his 38th birthday. He'd been with the police force around 16 years, and he leaves behind a wife and their 10-year-old son. And, of course, Police Chief Murphy Paul urging everyone to lift those families in prayer as we remember the courage of these 2 brave men. And here you go. Here's another shot of the procession as it passes by. Poignant moment for those police officers and members of the public on the side. It looks like someone just saluted as this wave of motorcycles passes by. There's the first hearse carrying one of the bodies, followed by the second, totally surrounded by their fellow officers in blue, in khaki, in green, representing many of the law enforcement agencies throughout South Louisiana. As you can see, many other of the people have just stopped along the way to show their respect for these officers as they're taken to the police headquarters and the memorial, then to their final resting places. And their Baton Rouge Fire Department, they have those ladder trucks that are involved in the huge honor of having the American flag displayed so that the procession can pass underneath in honor of these 2 fallen heroes. Again, we're not too far from Baton Rouge Police Headquarters. They're making really good time on this procession. And again, most of this area, as the procession makes its way down Airline Highway, most of these areas, the intersections, will be shut down, just like it would be in a funeral procession, will be shut down as the procession makes its way past. Several hundred Baton Rouge police officers and other officers from around are involved in this memorial, and there is a great shot of the Baton Rouge Police Headquarters, and out in front you see a lot of the police force there, the different divisions represented in the different uniforms. The white there you see there, that's command, including Baton Rouge Police Chief Murphy Paul, and next to the chief is Baton Rouge Mayor President, East Baton Rouge Parish Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome, and they are all standing just to the side of the police memorial, and in front of the police memorial are two bronze statues of police officers, symbolic of all the brave men and women who have given their lives, paid the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. As we said, quite a few names on that memorial there, including the two of the Baton Rouge police officers who were killed in 2016 in the police ambush, Matthew Gerald and Montrell Jackson. And then the latest name to be added was, it would have been Dotson, who died from COVID-19 back in 2021. And now these latest names, Sergeant David Poirier and Scotty Cannizzaro, will be added to that memorial. Flag is at half staff right now, not only here, but around the city of Baton Rouge and around the state in honor of these two fallen officers. And in front, this always seems to happen in these memorials. They will have a police unit that is stationed in front, and usually that is used for the end of watch call. Now, the end of watch call, or the last radio call, is a ceremony which is very special to police. You know, after a police officer's death in the line of duty, but sometimes because of an illness, the officers from his or her unit of the department gather around that police radio, over which the police dispatcher issues one call to the officer, followed by silence, then a second call, followed by silence, signaling the end of watch. Here comes another shot. This will pass under these lift trucks that are holding an American flag as a sign of honor. You see the flashing lights. Further up Airline Highway, traffic stopped to allow the procession to make its way. And you will see it pass underneath the American flag as a sign of honor, a sign of respect, as a sign of glory for our nation and for those who give their lives in the defense of freedom, in the defense of law and order. But that procession slowly making its way down Airline Highway. The airline, obviously, very busy this time of day. It's almost 11 o'clock in the morning, so it is very busy. Lots of traffic on here, but a lot of that has been shut down to make a path for this procession that is slowly but surely making its way to Baton Rouge Police Headquarters. It's quite a scene. These two American flags, signs of honor and patriotism. And you saw Bess did a wonderful job at giving you a little bit about Sergeant David Poirier and Corporal Scotty Cannizzaro, telling their story, how both of them were very passionate about their police work, not only serving the men and women of the Baton Rouge Police Department, but as pilots. They loved what they did, and they actually helped save a baby's life not too long ago. We did a story on that, and how David Poirier talked about how they were able to save the infant's life out in the woods. He was left out in the woods, and so that's just the kind of thing that they did. Also understand that Scotty Cannizzaro actually, and the helicopter, they were at Touch a Truck, which is a fundraiser for the Junior League, that just this past weekend, where he was explaining to youngsters why he loved being a police officer and how they use a helicopter in searches, in rescues, and pursuits, and that kind of thing. Here's another view of the procession. The first wave of the procession as it makes its way down Airline. You see the flashing lights from the motorcycles. And then the hearses carrying the bodies of David Poirier and Scotty Cannizzaro right behind them, surrounded by their brothers and sisters in arms, fellow police officers. It's quite a scene. We've seen this before in Baton Rouge, 2016, from the Baton Rouge police ambush, where we said goodbye to 3 law enforcement officers who were killed in that case. And now this latest case of the 2 pilots who were killed in the helicopter crash over in West Baton Rouge Parish this past weekend. Procession is almost to Baton Rouge Police Headquarters. They will turn off Airline down Connells Park and then turn into the parking lot and to the front of police headquarters, where the two hearses will pause as the ceremony takes place, involving the police chief, the mayor, and pretty much most of the Baton Rouge police force. Many of these men and women who knew David and Scotty, worked with them every day, have been with them in the rank and file throughout the past 16 and 17 years. Both of those officers, veteran police officers with the Baton Rouge Police Force. Looks like the procession has passed there, and now we're back with a live shot at Baton Rouge Police Headquarters, where they're waiting on the two hearses to pull up at any moment now and begin the ceremony that will take place there. As I said, the names on that memorial, they date back to like 1911. And I understand one of the first names that was put on there was Chief Ware, one of the early police chiefs of Baton Rouge, who was killed by gunfire. And again, he was one of the first names that was placed on there. And then Sergeant Charles Dodson, one of the last names that was memorialized there. His end of watch came on January 24th, 2021, died from complications from COVID-19. Katie Easter's covering our team, continuing our team coverage at the headquarters there, where they're waiting on the hearses. As you can see, it looks like, there she is right there. Katie, it looks like the procession is getting closer and closer, and I know it almost looks like the entire police department is out there to pay their respects.
JP, they pretty much are, like I had said earlier, and how you had mentioned even the different colors. You can tell by the command. You've got your police academy members out here. You've got the mayor out here standing right next to the chief, but also you have other police departments out here. You've got the state police out here as well. I've seen Iberville Parish Sheriff's deputy badges also, and most importantly, actually standing right there next to us is the East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Air System pilots as well. You know, they are out here, and it's, I mean, I keep saying it, it's such a somber scene, you know. It's getting really quiet on me, so now I feel like I need to whisper. Like you had said, I know it is starting to approach, but everyone is just standing here waiting to give their final salute. And so, like you said, this is the scene, and they've been out here. Everyone's been ready to show their respect. They've been hugging each other. They've been, you know, they don't work together, but they still respect one another, so. Well, it sounds like it might be getting closer, JP. I'm not too sure, but I can hear things going on over the radio, so I feel like I'm going to be quiet for a moment here.
All right, Katie, quite a scene out in front of headquarters. As you can see, that's the main scene in front of the memorial right there, with the chief and the mayor. And off to the side there, along the side where the hearses will turn and then end up right here in front, you saw quite a few police officers, sheriff's deputies from many different law enforcement agencies in the surrounding area, all members of the brotherhood and sisterhood of law enforcement and protection. And there's another shot right there showing the procession as it makes its way under the flags of honor, to honor these two fallen officers. There's one of the waves of the motorcycle officers who are making their way there. You can see off to the right there, I believe that is the police headquarters. This is really a great shot because it gives you a good vantage point, showing you where that procession is coming from and where it's going. But just to the right there, you see that large building. I believe that's Baton Rouge Police Headquarters, and then it's where the second flag is. And you just saw that first wave of motorcycle officers pass with their flashing lights. Now it looks like they're stopped and they're waiting for the next group. And the next group will be the hearse as it passes under the American flag. Of course, one of those officers whose name is on the memorial was Terry Melanson. His end of watch came August 10th, 2005, at the tender age of 31, after 4 years of service. Terry wrote something very poignant to a description of what you're seeing right now. He wrote this. He said, "To those who made the supreme sacrifice, the Baton Rouge Blue," he said, "You are my angel of light. Like the stars up above, you shine through the night. Whenever I am scared, you come to the fight. You are my angel of light." The words of Terry Melanson, who also gave his life protecting and serving. Again, his end of watch came August 10th, 2005, at the age of 31. Now the procession passes under the red, white, and blue. Let's pause for a moment of silence. Quite a scene, Baton Rouge. You don't see this too often. The procession passing under giant American flags, making its turn to head to the memorial at Baton Rouge Police Headquarters. Many police officers, sheriff's deputies, members of the public, stopping, saluting, praying, shedding a tear for these two brave men who've given their lives in the line of duty. Awaiting them at the memorial, many of the officers that they've served with over the last 16 and 17 years, many who will say goodbye. Let's listen in and watch some of these final salutes. A final salute from the entire Baton Rouge Police Department to two of their finest. Two men who gave their lives in the line of duty. David Poirier, Scotty Cannizzaro. And above, a helicopter flies, also saluting fellow pilots. Their end of watch came too soon in a helicopter crash this past weekend in West Baton Rouge Parish, getting saluted by some other pilots who no doubt they worked with. Flag at half, staff at Baton Rouge Police Headquarters, and now a lot of hugs and tears and prayers for men that they served with for 16 or 17 years, men who love what they did, passionate about what they did. Many of these brave men and women feel the same way. They signed up to protect and serve, and now they'll gather around this memorial and look at some of the other names of those who've also paid the ultimate sacrifice. You do know that David Poirier, the hearse will take his body to Seal Funeral Home in Denham Springs, and we understand from the police there, Denham Springs Police, they will close down part of the interstate there, and then of course Range Avenue as that hearse makes its way there. So for all of our viewers that are watching in Livingston Parish and Denham Springs, this is going to happen probably within the next hour, so you might want to avoid that area if possible, unless of course you want to go and park in line along the way and salute David as he's taken to Seal Funeral Home and then eventually to his final resting place when they have his funeral eventually. But once again, Procession has passed Baton Rouge Police Headquarters, where David and Scotty spent a lot of the last 16 and 17 years, where they did a lot of their police work. And then later in their careers, they were really passionate about flying and serving in the air service, manning the helicopter, using it not only in searches and rescues, but in their last assignment in trying to apprehend a suspect and helping in a high-speed chase. And eventually, the chopper went down in West Baton Rouge Parish, and we know the rest of what happened. But Katie Easter is still out at headquarters, and she's right now trying to talk to the mayor and the police chief and others and get their feelings on this this very emotional and somber day. Let's go to Katie and see if we can get some comments from some of those who are attending these ceremonies. They're Sharon Western Broom. Katie, what do the mayor and the police chief have to say about this?
Well, JP, we're getting set up right now here.
All right, Katie, we'll stay with you there. We see that the mayor, it's a very sad day for her and for all the men and women on the Baton Rouge Police Force as they saluted these two brave men who gave their lives in the line of duty. Katie and Patrick Perry there, they're covering the ceremony at the Baton Rouge Police Headquarters, and they're right now getting ready to talk to the mayor to see what she has to say. No doubt she will ask citizens of Baton Rouge to raise the families in prayer and respect the families during these very tough times, and talk about the brave men and women who serve on the Baton Rouge Police Force. They put their lives on the line every day, and to some, the end of watch comes far too soon. There you see police also on hand helping direct traffic around our camera site, and Katie, of course, covering the events over at Baton Rouge Police Headquarters. We heard earlier from Bess Casserly, who was at West Baton Rouge. But let's go back to Katie, who's got not only the mayor, but Police Chief Murphy Paul. Let's get some comments from them on this very tough and somber day for the Baton Rouge Police Department. Katie?
All right, y'all ready?
Everyone ready?
All right.
Are we good to go? Okay.
We'll go ahead with just how was that today, seeing all these different departments coming out to help with escorting them back home?
So certainly our city and our community is grieving and mourning the loss of these two outstanding helicopter pilots who have touched our community in so many different ways. And I'm sure for the family it was certainly heartwarming to see so many people from our community come by BRPD and perhaps lined up across Airline Highway as we pay tribute to these two officers.
You know, it's a tragedy when you lose two officers. But to see how this community comes together in times like this, not just the community, law enforcement agencies from all across Louisiana, all across the capital region, all across the country. My law enforcement partners asking if there's anything that they can do to help us in this difficult time. And prayers. That's what the family is asking for, prayers. We're going to continue working with the family as they go through this difficult time.
What will you remember most about these officers?
You know, when we release the names of the officers, I begin to get emails and calls from community members who remember them from a community presentation. The mayor and I just talked. They were at an event the weekend, the Touch a Truck event. They were at the Leadership Institute doing a presentation over there for Senator Cleo Fields. They were meeting with legislators, giving demonstrations on drones and how we can use drones and technology in policing in Baton Rouge. These guys were involved in so many presentations and touched the hearts of so many community members and kids And just to hear that and their involvement in so many things, it's going to be a great loss to this police department. Great loss.
And so we are certainly encouraging the community, as we know they are doing at this moment, to certainly lift up the families in your prayers and continue to show certainly the compassion that has been shown throughout this process.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, you just heard comments from the mayor and police chief about the two officers that they are remembering today. As Chief Paul said, and he talked about, as we talked about earlier, that the officers were at a special event this weekend doing their job, what they do best, reaching out to the community. Touch the Truck event, sponsored by the Junior League of Baton Rouge, a big fundraiser. But you touch a truck, but you also have the helicopters and police units and motorcycles and all kinds of things out there for kids to look, to feel, to touch. And who was there but Scotty and David, doing what they do best, reaching out to the community, touching the hearts of so many community members and kids. And, of course, the mayor said, be sure to lift up the families with your prayers and continue to show them compassion. Of course, we will have much more on this special final salute and police procession later today on News 2. But thanks for joining us for this special coverage of the procession of these Baton Rouge police officers, Sergeant David Poirier and Corporal Scotty Canizero. We'll have much more coming up on our noon broadcast, as well as on News 2 at 4, 5, 6, and 10. Thanks for joining us. We now go back to our regularly scheduled program.